to force me into initiating the divorce. My husband Luke faked medical records claiming he had a terminal illness. But the cruel irony was he actually did. I'd been struggling to find the right words to bring it up myself. Now it became unnecessary. His impending death became public knowledge. I urged Luke to pursue treatment. Yet everyone around us pressured me to abandon him and file for divorce. Their arguments eventually wore me down. When Luke handed me his diagnosis report, my hands trembled slightly seeing those stark words, Stage 4. Jess, he said quietly, let's end this marriage. The papers slipped from my fingers at his declaration. He sighed, retrieving the documents from the floor. It's terminal. No point dragging you through this. If we divorce now, you can remarry without people calling you a jinx. I refused, desperately suggesting alternatives. Kevin is an oncologist. Modern medicine works miracles, but Luke remained resolute in his decision to surrender. His parents shockingly supporting this fatalistic approach despite their only son's condition. Amidst the grief, relief flickered through me. At least the truth was out without me breaking it. My purse held identical test results I'd carried for days. Dreading this conversation. When persuasion failed, I turned to his parents. The DeVises who'd always prized their bloodline above all shocked me by siding with Luke's surrender. Lori's husband went this way years ago. His mother sighed. Bankrupted them all. We can't, his father added grimly. The treatments, we simply can't afford that financial ruin. Jess. Mrs. Davis took my hands. He's doing this for you. The surrealness overwhelmed me. Since when did these people value practicality over family survival? Luke returned home to the stalemate, immediately understanding the situation. It's decided, he said firmly. My parents agree. What about Sophie? I challenged. Our daughter's name hung between us. Before Luke could respond, his mother intervened. Sophie stays with you. She needs her mother more. Luke's startled glance at this deviation from their script went ignored. With the divorce inevitable, I bargained through tears. Then let's make these last months count. Create beautiful memories with Sophie. After, we'll part. After heavy silence, Luke nodded agreement. This time could have been used for treatment to prolong his life. Yet he chose to abandon it. Thinking of this, I shed a few more tears in sorrow. Luke had drafted his bucket list. The first item was to complete our unfinished honeymoon trip. Back when we'd just married, we'd prepared to see the Northern Lights together. Yet he'd received an unexpected overseas assignment from his company, forcing us to postpone. Eventually, it faded into oblivion. After building our home, who doesn't get swallowed by daily routines? We truly couldn't spare energy for romantic gestures beyond survival. When Sophie came along, it became even more impossible. Had Luke not fallen ill, this might have remained an eternal regret. The cold kept me from bringing our daughter, leaving her with my mother instead. Murmansk only had 3 to 4 hours of daylight. Luke warned us the aurora wasn't guaranteed. We might follow guides for days only to glimpse faint lights through smartphone night modes. Nothing spectacular to naked eyes. With such short days, proper sightseeing seemed impossible. You're idealizing this place because of past regrets. It's not actually that amazing, he said. We aren't those picture-perfect social media couples anyway. His words implied our original cancellation had been wise. I took him on the bus to Taraburka. Nightfall greeted our arrival, coinciding with an aurora explosion. I checked forecasts. Clear skies and high KP index today mean great odds. I explained. Here, Northern Lights appeared almost daily, sometimes visible right from our hotel window. Beyond the auroras, I arranged subsequent days with Arctic landmark visits, whale-watching cruises, Pebble Beach excursions, swings at the world's edge, reindeer sledding, and love lock rituals. Luke's phone kept freezing mid-journey, while I'd wisely packed portable chargers to keep mine alive. You planned all this? He seemed pleasantly overwhelmed, never imagining so many activities. I nodded. Drafted years ago. Recently optimized. His expression turned guilty. I'd poured heart into planning our dream honeymoon years prior, only to be stood up. He'd never considered making it up, oblivious to my lingering anticipation. On our final night, I opened Lori Harper's social media. Lori, Luke's first love. Her profile screamed, "Your arrival thawed my frozen world." With Lennon icebreaker ship background. Our honeymoon meant nothing because it was originally his promise to another. Taking deep breaths, I typed a message into her chat box. Before any reply came, our door crashed open. "What are you messaging Lori about? What's your game?" He glared murderously. Stunned silent. I heard him rage on, "Ever since learning about her. You've doubted us. How many times must I say our relationship has nothing to do with others? Maybe your constant suspicion caused this. Your distrust suffocated me into this terminal illness." Tears flooded my vision. "What did you say?" He snatched my phone, freezing when seeing the text, not accusations. "But please." Begging Lori to convince him to seek treatment. Even 1% hope deserved trying. "Jess," guilt-ridden. He reached to embrace me. I stepped back. "Jess. I didn't mean it. You know how it is with my condition, my hormones are all out of whack. Don't take it personally." Luke's voice trembled as he pressed my palm against his gaunt cheek. "You're the most important person in my life. This illness is just bad luck. But having you by my side makes me the luckiest man alive." My phone buzzed with Lori's belated reply while he spoke. The hospital social worker remained firm. I should respect Luke's wishes rather than selfishly prolong his suffering. "Jess. Sweetheart." He pleaded, using the pet name he'd called me since college. "If you're still angry, hit me. Yell at me. Just don't shut me out. You're all I have left." I couldn't bring myself to strike him. Not when the chemotherapy ports still dotted his chest beneath that striped sweater. How could anyone hit a dying man who'd already been abandoned by common sense and medical reason? We crossed off the second item on our bucket list upon returning stateside, Sophie's belated birthday celebration. The Disney World castle glittered under Florida's harsh sun as we splurged on VIP tour guides to maximize our limited time. Our daughter's laughter during the Frozen sing-along squeezed my heart. But her answer to my evening question surprised us both. "What was your favorite part today?" "Pumpkin? Being with you and Daddy," she chirped, sticky fingers clutching Mickey-shaped cotton candy. I saw Luke's resolve falter as he hoisted her onto his shoulders for the fireworks. "Your grandparents keep pushing for a grandson." I murmured against Sophie's hair, inhaling the scent of bubblegum shampoo. "But you're enough. We'll give you every ounce of love we have." His Adam's apple bobbed before he crouched to eye level with our 6-year-old. "You'll always be my princess," he whispered hoarsely. "No matter what happens. I'm forever your daddy." The Himalayan prayer flags were already packed when the call came. Some ER chief named Kevin Brooks left voicemails about experimental treatments, his clinical tone cracking through speakerphone. Why refuse further care? The Massachusetts General Hospital director's frustration leaked through the line. Oral medications alone won't. Luke stared at the half-filled suitcase, trembling fingers hovering over the cancel call button. The Tibetan prayer beads around his wrist clacked like counting bones. His reaction was as if he just learned about his illness for the first time. To be honest, I was equally shocked. A doctor willing to call and persuade patients about treatment, now that's what I call dedication. The voice continued. "I'm Kevin Brooks' friend. You can trust me completely. Could you come to the hospital tomorrow for more thorough tests?" Hearing this, Luke suddenly grew calm, glancing at me with sorrowful eyes. He said, "No, doctor. I've made up my mind. No more treatments." "Is this about costs?" The doctor pressed. "Insurance would cover most of it. If necessary. Our hospital has charity funds." Luke cut him off. Doctor, my family's seen this disease before. I know exactly how it ends. If possible, I want to go with dignity. Spare my family the prolonged suffering. The doctor must have encountered similar situations countless times. After triple-checking Luke's decision, he finally sighed. Take care of yourself, Mr. Davis. I clung to Luke and wept again. Altitude sickness mirrored his symptoms so closely, maybe this was my way of sharing his pain. His condition had worsened: dizziness, lethargy, tinnitus, insomnia persisting even through oxygen masks. We both knew his real illness, but I pretended to believe the comforting lie, wiping tears only when he couldn't see. No wonder Tibet's called a soul-cleansing sanctuary. At Yamdrok Lake, the piercing blue sky merged with crystalline waters that seemed to dissolve worldly burdens. The sapphire expanse cradled by mountains reflected every shifting cloud, its hues deepening from cobalt to cerulean, a living painting where one's reflection might wash away all earthly troubles. Rows of wooden wish plaques fluttered at the lakeside corridor. When Luke saw my inscription, his voice tightened. Jess. Countless hopes hung suspended between us as I tied my plaque beside others. Jess. He began. We'd agreed. My trembling interruption came. Couldn't you try treatment? For Sophie and me? Couldn't you fight? We have the money. I sold my parents' house. If needed, I'll borrow more. We can earn it back. Buy another home later. But if we lose you... His silence broke when I blurted, I saw you spit out the pills. Memories flashed, him holding medication under his tongue days earlier, casually flushing it away in the hotel bathroom. The practiced motion suggested countless repetitions. Since when? My voice cracked. Is it the side effects? Do you hate treatment this much? A nervous tick flickered across his face before he steadied. The side effects, yes. Vomiting, diarrhea, hair falling out. Jess, I can't let you see me like that. At least for this last period. I want to maintain complete normalcy in front of you. Because of this very reason, he stopped taking his medication. It would accelerate his condition's deterioration. But he didn't care. I pounded my fists against him, nearly hysterical. He grasped my wrists, voice tender. I watched firsthand how second uncle dragged our entire family down. Jess, I can't be that selfish. What about Sophie? What about you? I remained silent. But Luke knew mentioning our child had already softened my resolve. Jess, he said, I love you. How long had it been since we last uttered love? Too long. My mind could only conjure the moment Luke proposed to me. Back then, he'd spoken those same words. The man from our past and the man before me now overlapped completely. For a heartbeat, I thought he might say that other phrase. Instead, Luke opened his mouth and said, let's separate. When someone's drowning, it's hard not to pull others under. Given his deteriorating health, this declaration carried deeper devotion than his original marriage proposal. Finally, I nodded through tears, resolved to fulfill the final item on his bucket list: divorce. To expedite the process, we filed for a contested divorce upon returning home. Through pre-trial mediation, we bypassed the cooling-off period and swiftly obtained our divorce mediation agreement. Sophie stayed with me. I appeared generous with asset division, knowing financial struggles awaited them. Leaving here, everything would trigger my grief. I won't return for some time, I told Luke during our final goodbye, our daughter clinging to his leg. Sophie waved, bye Daddy. He looked wistful. Well, goodbye. Goodbye. This might be our last meeting, I thought. The divorce finalized exactly as he'd planned. Knowing his illness, Jessica Mitchell wouldn't fight over money, preserving most assets. Yet Luke found less joy than anticipated. That very afternoon, His parents eagerly brought Laura Harper home, her womb cradling their precious grandson. His mother complained bitterly about Jessica's cold-heartedness for keeping the house, lamenting child-rearing expenses. She conveniently forgot Jessica also faced single parenthood, and that the property had been Jessica's premarital asset all along. Luke and Lori had loved passionately in their youth. Their unresolved romance remained his life's deepest wound. Jessica resembled water, gentle, calming. Being with her soothed him, the old ache seemingly healing. Dating, marrying, parenting, everything flowed naturally. Until the alumni reunion where he encountered Lori again. The old injury throbbed anew. Initially he maintained boundaries, but gradually they blurred. Was it the friends teasing? Her coffee invitations? Their fulfilled teenage promise to chase northern lights across the Arctic Circle? The trip proved tedious, a night spent chasing auroras only to glimpse them through phone screens. He thought, this is it? He suddenly wanted to go home. But in the darkness, while everyone gazed upward, Lori grasped his hand. He'd made a mistake, just that one time, and now Lori was pregnant. A child. He already had a daughter, Sophie, who was bright as winter frost. But she wasn't a boy. Jess refused to have more children. Yet here was someone willing. The very woman he'd yearned for years. The first love he nearly named his daughter after. His parents had long disapproved of Jess and raised no objections. So he obtained falsified medical records from Kevin, divorced without financial loss, and started his new life with Lori. Later, they'd claim misdiagnosis and everything would fall into place. Even if questioned, only Jess would face condemnation as the deserter. Why shouldn't he choose the loyal first love? The child's age could be adjusted discreetly, wait a few years and who'd notice a slight discrepancy? Things progressed smoothly. If it really was a misdiagnosis. I quit my job, changed my number, moved cities with Sophie. Months later, Luke resurfaced in viral news, with me as protagonist. The Davis family accused me of abandoning my terminally ill husband, enjoying prosperity but fleeing adversity. Alleged I deliberately dragged the sick Luke across the country until treatment became impossible. The murderer who killed him, they said, filing lawsuits. So Luke was dead. Understandable, no treatment, no medication. Public outrage snowballed. Our history got dissected online. Condemnation pouring like blizzard's frowny face. This is why marriage vows mean nothing. Tragic, worked himself to death for family that vanished when illness struck. Refusing expensive treatment is one thing. But sabotaging care? Pure evil. Taking critically ill man traveling? Sounds like assisted suicide. Gone without a trace vibes. Only child lost. How will his parents survive? Luke's acquaintances emerged, extolling his devotion before lamenting good die young while villains thrive. I became public enemy number one. After deliberation, I contacted them. His mother answered smugly, changed your number. Huh? Thought you could hide from us? Ended up crawling back anyway. Containing rage. I demanded. Why spread lies? You know the truth. They'd been the ones blocking treatment. Her sneer died mid-breath as Lori's warning carried through. Careful, she might be recording. Silence followed. Clearly coached. What do you want? Simple, return Luke's life insurance payout. Yes. There'd been substantial coverage. His uncle's precedent made him purchase heavy policies. Nobody anticipated the payout going to me. The current public opinion is clear. If you refuse, neither you nor your daughter will know peace again. The call disconnected. Soon after, they launched a live stream, seemingly preparing to monetize their grief immediately. The elderly couple wiped tears as they lamented how Luke had cherished his wife. Our son treated her like his most precious treasure. When he got diagnosed with terminal illness, she abandoned him without contributing a single cent. She delayed his treatment and killed him. We don't want anything except justice for our boy. Their raw anguish triggered floods of donations and supportive comments. Any mother would do the same. No parent should bury their child. This is heartbreaking. Then they revealed, our son had life insurance. But during the chaos of his illness, no one remembered to update the beneficiary. His death benefits went straight to the woman who abandoned him. We can't accept this, that money shouldn't go to her under any circumstances. The live chat exploded. I'd rise from the grave if I were him. Can they sue for unjust enrichment? Legally she's clean. The case would likely fail. Contact the insurance investigators. Have them scrutinize every detail to deny the payout. If their goal were truly justice, this would be the logical path. But their real objective became obvious when they ignored practical solutions and instead seized on comments demanding, make Jess return Luke's insurance money. Faking distress. They pleaded, please don't pressure her like this. We still hope she'll do the right thing, she's still Sophie's mother after all. The chat erupted into coordinated chants demanding Jess surrender the funds. My new phone number leaked despite swift deletion. Strangers bombarded me with vicious texts and friend requests until I locked down all privacy settings. Just as they thought they'd cornered me, a video trended globally. No background music played as text appeared. These might be our final memories, his last gift to me. The footage showed me red-eyed from crying. He refused treatment, saying his parents would never approve. I begged them to convince him. Audio cut to my hidden phone recording the shocking conversation where his parents calmly endorsed his decision to die. Luke returned home resolved, this is my choice. And Mom and Dad support it. We planned bucket list travels before divorcing. The screen flashed to Arctic wilderness, Luke gazing at auroras. Swinging alone on a cliffside overlook. Us cheering at whale spouts. Screaming with laughter on dog sleds, the scenes flashed by before lingering on the engraved padlock. Luke's voiceover resonated, you're the most important person in my life. Me getting sick was just bad luck. But having you by my side makes me the luckiest man alive. Then came footage from our Disneyland trip as a family. I'd captured countless moments of him playing with Sophie. What was your favorite part today? Our daughter's sweet voice chirped, being with Mommy and Daddy. Next came Tibet. The majestic landscapes and his radiant smile had renewed my hope. My nose glowed red from the cold. But excitement bubbled through. The house sold. We've got the funds now. He's having so much fun here, maybe he'll finally agree to treatment. I'll ask tonight. The following clip showed shaky cell phone footage of Luke secretly spitting medication into the toilet. Then an outdoor scene where only my trembling voice was heard. He refuses. Subsequent footage captured our conversation at the wishing corridor, him citing medication side effects. Wanting to preserve his best self for me pleading for him to keep fighting, him arguing we should prioritize Sophie's future. The video ended with Luke's heartfelt declaration, I love you, Jess. Let's separate. Accompanying documents included divorce mediation papers detailing asset division and custody arrangements, plus the life insurance policy naming Sophie as beneficiary, funds held in trust until adulthood under guardian supervision. A linked news article revealed the Davis family had sued the hospital for misdiagnosis. Though investigators cleared the medical team with recorded evidence of Luke's explicit treatment refusal, the case was ruled as malicious litigation. Satisfied with the shifting public opinion, I sent a WeChat red envelope to my contact. Professional editors are so reliable. The other side sent back a crying emoji. Jess, I already got paid for this job. I can't accept your red packet, you and the kids need the money more right now. Ugh. I cried the whole time editing. Still tearing up rewatching it. If you need anything, just ask. Seriously. Don't hesitate. College students are so kind-hearted. I'll find an excuse to send her holiday money later. Eventually, the insurance company contacted me. Turns out the original beneficiary was his mother, but he changed it to our daughter later. They forwarded a handwritten letter from Luke. The past 2 months might have been the darkest of my life. The pain, it's unbearable. This illness has nearly broken me. Yet, pathetically, I still cling to survival. Only now do I realize that the people I thought loved me most only cared conditionally. I failed their standards. So I'm out. My parents are getting old and refuse to sell their house for my treatment. When I reached out to friends I considered close, few replied. Even fewer agreed to help. Lately, I keep remembering our times in Giali, Disneyland, Tibet. Everyone told me to give up, only you encouraged me to keep fighting. I'd give anything to see that determined look in your eyes again. You cried so much back then. At our wedding, I vowed you'd never shed a tear because of me. Yet I kept hurting you. I'm truly sorry. It took losing everything to realize how incredible you are. How vital. I made terrible mistakes, ones I should confess here but can't. Even knowing you'll read this after I'm gone. The shame paralyzes me. When I imagine your reaction to this letter, I have to stop thinking. I failed Sophie. Spent too little time with her. Wasted every chance to be a real father. I wanted to hold her. Take her to Disney every year. Watch her graduate. Walk her down the aisle. Now it's too late for redemption. I was neither a good husband nor father. All I can offer now is this insurance money, hardly adequate compensation. But maybe it'll make your lives slightly easier. Please, don't refuse it. Lastly, hug our daughter for me. I love you both. Setting down my phone, I exhaled. Knowing his final days were filled with agony, that he died friendless and desperate, brought grim satisfaction. When Luke mentioned the mistake I did to you, I almost laughed. Which one did he mean? The affair? Or that elaborate lie about his terminal illness? I remembered our last day in Murmansk. I'd suggested hanging a love lock at the Arctic harbor before leaving. He grew visibly nervous. Especially after realizing how few locks were there, you could read them all in 20 minutes. The moment I fastened our family's engraved lock, he tried rushing me away. He feared I'd discover the one bearing Luke Davis and Laura Harper. Too bad I'd already seen it weeks earlier. Jessica Mitchell's social media bio read, "Because of your arrival, my world became an ice-free port." The background image showed the Lenin icebreaker ship. Scrolling down revealed the hidden part of the photo, a love lock engraved with Luke Davis and Laura Harper. That familiar nausea resurfaced upon noticing both his first love and our daughter shared the name Sophie. Was this blatant display confidence I wouldn't notice? Or deliberate provocation? The timing of discovering Luke's terminal diagnosis proved inconvenient. Divorcing now would paint me as unsympathetic, jeopardizing my custody battle. Before I could strategize, Luke handed me his medical reports demanding divorce. The crucial detail? He claimed late-stage illness. Yet the doctor confirmed mid-stage treatability. I saw through 80% of their scheme instantly. Let them keep believing their deception. Through careful probing, I identified the conspirators. My in-laws' resentment over my refusal to surrender reproductive autonomy had festered for years. Had even one person exposed the sick charade, I'd have abandoned my plan to discover Luke's real condition. No one did. Blessedly, no one did. They all became accomplices in Luke's demise. I watched them endorse treatment refusal and our divorce. Let him spit out life-saving medication. Escorted him through high-altitude regions. Using elevation sickness to mask his deteriorating health. Prolonging mid-stage into terminal. Concerned about Dr. Brooks' potential interference. I preemptively contacted him, due to past trauma. He distrusts hospitals. Perhaps mention Kevin Brooks. They're old friends with Laura. Kevin had always disapproved of me. Mentioning him would make Luke dismiss the doctor as another actor in my drama. We liquidated assets smoothly for future relocation. That life insurance policy required meticulous performance, the devoted wife pleading for treatment until final separation. Let him remember my loyalty during his coming isolation. The beneficiary change proceeded flawlessly. Security footage from Arctic expeditions to Tibetan plateaus documented everything. Let the world see how devoted he appeared. Better and used, but ready if needed. My daughter needed a perfect victim mother. The posthumous saintly husband narrative turned my stomach. But financial security demanded tolerance. Sophie would never know her father's true nature. Only his crafted legacy. When the Davis family's live stream accounts got banned with refunded donations. When Laura miscarried their bloodline's last hope. When his parents descended into madness harassing her. I simply watched. The Davis family's wealth had long been squandered during Luke's medical treatments. Now they'd lost their money, their son, their grandson, and even their reputation. Nobody would lend them a hand anymore. Their bleak twilight years were inevitable. Kevin Brooks got fired for violating medical ethics by revealing fetal gender and falsifying documents after being reported. Even those who'd sighed over Luke's misfortune while kicking dirt at me got their comeuppance when netizens demanded, if he was so great, did you loan him money during his illness? The backlash from their clout chasing left them miserable. Remembering the last line of those messages, I chuckled again. Not enough? Just making your lives slightly better? It's more than sufficient. Did Luke really think his living presence could offer better compensation than cold hard cash? His death proved far more useful than his life ever was. I called Sophie over. Want to change your name? What to? Not Davis anymore. How about Mitchell? Jessica Mitchell, she gleefully raised her hand. Truth Mitchell. I tapped her head. Troublemaker. Yet considering it, Truth Mitchell did have a nice ring. Uphold integrity without fail. That's returning to truth. The maple symbolism fit too, resilient. Unyielding. I noted it as backup. This time, she'd get a proper name. A name carrying hopes. One that'd become a blessing with every utterance. Making her smile remembering its meaning. A name containing pure love, just for her.